Did this console generation get started without notifying me? Did I slip into a coma and I missed several years of high quality video games releasing from first party studios from these companies, and I was in a coma and I slept through it? Because spoiler alert.
Alright, let's just call it what it is. The PS5 Pro is an absolute unit. This thing isn't just a little upgrade. It's Sony walking in like, yeah, we're still the console king. But you know what's funny? None of that matters if the games don't back it up. You can have a jet engine strapped to your living room, but if nothing's using that power, what's the point, right? Luckily, that's not a problem here. The PS5 Pro actually has games that make the hardware sweat in the best way possible. So, let's go through some of the heavy hitters that really show what this thing can do.
The universe is talking to us right now. You just gotta listen.
Returnal. Housemarque didn't need to prove anything, but then they went ahead and said, screw it, let's make it even prettier. The PS5 Pro update gave Returnal a massive glow up. Resolution boost, smoother frame rate, and those particle effects. They're basically visual confetti on steroids. Every explosion, every dash, every alien tentacle flailing around. It's pure chaos, but in a hypnotic way. The gameplay loop was already addictive, but now it looks so good. You almost forget how many times you've died. It's fast, it's flashy, and it's the perfect game to show off what the Pro can really do. Battlefield 6. Say what you want about the campaign, but visually, this game's a monster. DICE went nuts on fidelity mode for the PS5 Pro. You get rich detail in every explosion, every particle, every blade of grass you'll probably get sniped through. The frame rate stays smooth even when the entire map is on fire, and that's saying something. The PS5 Pro version just looks and feels like the definitive one. Sharper, faster, and absurdly immersive. When you're dropping into chaos with tanks and jets flying overhead, it's the kind of visual overload that makes you laugh mid-battle because it looks that good. Ghost of Yōtei. This is the exact kind of moment PlayStation fans live for. The verdict? This thing isn't just good, it's being talked about as a straight-up Game of the Year contender. Everywhere you look. Reddit threads, critic reviews, fan reactions. It's overwhelmingly positive. Let's start with the presentation, because that's what people are losing their minds over. One player on the review mega thread put it simply but perfectly. It has spectacular graphics, great music, and is fun to play. Sometimes you don't need flowery language. Those three things sum up why people are hooked. Another reviewer went even harder, calling it a triumph in every sense, from the sweeping vistas to the haunting soundtrack. It feels like stepping into a samurai epic come to life. That's not just good, that's Goosebumps level praise. And then there's the combat. Sucker Punch clearly doubled down on what worked in Ghost of Tsushima, but tuned it to perfection here. One review said, an excellent sequel. Ghost of Yōtei adds some complexity, but also streamlines the original game's combat into a smoother and more unique experience. Another fan described it as buttery smooth, brutal when it needs to be, and versatile enough that every encounter feels like your own story. You know a system's good when players are comparing notes on whether stealth, hybrid builds, or pure standoff styles feel best. And everyone's right. Performance-wise, it's a home run. Every mode, quality, performance, even the ray-traced one, actually feels polished. No stutters, no crashes, none of the usual caveats we've been burned by in other big releases. Finally, a game in 2025 that feels finished at launch. That's almost sad we have to celebrate that, but hey, it matters. Now let's talk story, because this is where the game's identity really kicks in. Yeah, some folks are saying the revenge plot might not reinvent the wheel, but the delivery? People are floored. One comment stood out. Behind the cheesy facade lies a samurai action epic that cuts deep into morality and vengeance. Sucker Punch raised the bar. People will look back at this generation and regard Ghost of Yōtei as a true magnum opus. That's not casual hype. That's a fan declaring this game timeless. Death Stranding 2. You already know Kojima doesn't make games. He makes experiences that make your brain feel weird. On the PS5 Pro, though, it's on a whole new level. The Decima engine is just out here flexing. The landscapes in Mexico and Australia look photoreal. Every grain of sand, every ripple of water, every awkward smile from Norman Reedus, all running buttery smooth. The lighting, the draw distance, the weather effects. It's cinematic chaos, and the Pro eats it up. Even the base PS5 handled this game well. But on the Pro, it's like stepping into Kojima's fever dream with a front row seat. Assassin's Creed Shadows. So, Ubisoft finally went to Japan. And yeah, it was about time. Shadows on the PS5 Pro looks gorgeous. The world is dense, full of detail, and it finally feels alive instead of being one massive postcard. The balanced mode gives you that perfect middle ground. Smooth frame rate, gorgeous visuals, and ray tracing that makes the light hit your katana just right. On a 120Hz display, you get that sweet 40 frames per second mode, which might sound weird on paper, but trust me, it feels super fluid. The atmosphere, the reflections, the cherry blossoms, it's everything people have been begging for since Ghost of Tsushima, just running smoother. Alan Wake 2. Now this one is a wild ride. Remedy went all in on the visuals here, and the PS5 Pro takes it from great looking to what the hell? This is running on a console? The lighting is moody, the fog is thick, and the reflections are downright eerie. With ray tracing on and the 40 frames per second mode, it strikes that sweet balance between smooth gameplay and horror movie presentation. It's immersive as hell, the kind of game that makes you forget to blink. On the PS5 Pro, you just get sucked in faster. The detail in the environments, the way shadows crawl along the walls, it all makes the story hit harder. Gran Turismo 7. You want realism? This game is practically a car commercial that forgot it's supposed to end. Polyphony basically said, let's show everyone why 8K exists. The PS5 Pro version looks absolutely insane. Every car interior feels handcrafted, like you could smell the leather if you leaned too close. The new PSSR tech boosts image quality to the point where you start questioning if you're actually in the driver's seat. The reflections on the track, the detail on the tire textures, the way sunlight bounces off the hood, it's almost distracting. You'll crash just because you were admiring your own car. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This one's pure nostalgia and next-gen muscle mixed together. The PS5 Pro version basically blends the best of both worlds, the quality and performance modes, into something that feels seamless. Cloud and the gang have never looked better, and the environments, they're ridiculous. You can see every shimmer on his sword, every lighting change in battle. It's also one of the best examples of how PSSR works. The visuals stay razor sharp without murdering your frame rate. It's like magic, but nerdy. Square Enix finally nailed that balance between cinematic and playable. And yeah, it's easily the best way to play this game. F125. Now this one's straight up flexing. Codemasters went wild with the PS5 Pro patch, giving you 3 different graphical options, which, let's be honest, just means you'll spend 20 minutes switching back and forth before realizing they all look incredible. You can hit 4K at 60 frames per second, or go for 120 frames per second if you've got the right display. And then there's the resolution mode, which pushes 8K at 60 frames per second. Yeah, 8K. It's not a game anymore. It's a tech demo that accidentally became a sport. The ambient occlusion, the reflections, the track lighting. It's like watching an F1 broadcast, but you're the one behind the wheel. If you ever need to convince someone the PS5 Pro wasn't a waste of money, just show them this game. Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Insomniac's web-slinging sequel on the PS5 Pro is Chef's Kiss. New York looks so alive, it's almost rude. The reflections, the lighting, the smooth 60 frames per second, it all just hits perfectly. With full ray tracing through PSSR, swinging through the city feels like flying through a Pixar movie running at turbo speed. The amount of detail is ridiculous. Puddles, windows, even the random NPCs on their phones. Everything's crisp, and those big cinematic moments, yeah, they're pure eye candy on this thing. If you own a PS5 Pro and haven't played Spider-Man 2 yet, you're doing it wrong. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. The PS5 version already looked amazing, but Insomniac wasn't done flexing. The PS5 Pro patch basically said, let's melt your eyeballs for fun. The Fidelity Pro mode brings ray-traced reflections and more visual chaos than a laser light show. The colors pop harder, the particle effects are wild, and even random city pedestrians look more alive. It's one of those games that makes you stop mid-battle just to admire how ridiculous it looks. Like, yeah, I'm supposed to be saving the galaxy, but damn, that metal reflection looks good. The Callisto Protocol. Now this one's interesting. The devs didn't completely reinvent the wheel, but the PS5 Pro patch gave it a serious glow up. The new ray-traced performance mode actually makes the whole experience feel way more immersive and scarier, which honestly was kind of missing before. The lighting in those tight hallways, way creepier now. You can practically feel the cold metal walls. They also tweaked performance using TAU, so it runs smoother overall. It's still not perfect, but when you're fighting off nightmare creatures in space, you're too busy screaming to notice frame dips anyway. Alright, let's talk Stellar Blade on PS5 Pro, because this, right here, is what excellence looks like. No exaggeration. From the second you boot it up, you can just feel the difference. It's sharper, smoother, and it hits that sweet spot where gameplay and visuals finally work in perfect sync. The lighting in this game is unreal. Every reflection, every glow on Eve's armor, every particle that flies off a blade mid-fight. It all just pops. You're not just watching next-gen graphics, you're feeling them. The PS5 Pro's new upscaling magic makes everything look like it's running at native 4K, and yet it stays insanely fluid. You're slicing through enemies at 70, sometimes 80 frames, and it never breaks a sweat. And the thing is, the power doesn't just show in still shots. It's in the movement. Every dodge feels tighter. Every parry hits cleaner. Every combo lands like it's synced with the rhythm of the hardware. It's one of those games where the controls and the visuals almost start to blur together, and you just lose yourself in the motion. Sure, there are still a few trade-offs here and there, but nothing that kills the vibe. The balance between quality and performance finally feels right. The image stays razor sharp, the lighting is cinematic, and the flow is constant. You can tell the PS5 Pro isn't just boosting the game, it's enhancing it. Okay, this one's wild. Forza Horizon 5 is officially running on the PS5 Pro, and honestly, it feels like the game was meant for this hardware. The open world's already massive, but now it's clearer, sharper, and you can literally see miles ahead without that weird pop-in blur that used to kill the immersion. The draw distance is insane. Like, you're flying over a hill, and you can see every palm tree, every dirt trail, every shimmer of sunlight on a car hood way off in the distance. And the frame rate? Man, it's buttery smooth. The PS5 Pro finally lets this game stretch its legs, hitting 4K at 60 frames per second consistently with way fewer drops, even when you're tearing through a dust storm or sliding through traffic at 200 miles per hour. You can actually feel the extra horsepower doing its job. They even dialed up the lighting and reflections. You'll catch the sun glinting off huddles or metal fences, and it just looks real. The new ray tracing pass adds so much depth. Cars look like they belong in the world, not pasted onto it. It's like someone cranked up reality. And yeah, that's the thing. This isn't some lazy enhanced tag. This is a legit upgrade. You can tell it's optimized for the PS5 Pro from the ground up. It's smoother, brighter, sharper. Everything's just more alive. So if you've got a PS5 Pro, this is the version to play. It's not just the best Forza has ever looked. It's one of those rare times where the console finally keeps up with the chaos on screen. It's just you, the engine, and a game that's never looked this damn good. Alright, let's talk Star Wars Jedi Survivor on PS5 Pro, because honestly, this one went from a shaky launch to a serious comeback. If you remember how rough it looked when it first dropped, especially with that flickering foliage and weird strobing during fast camera moves. Yeah, those days are mostly gone. The PS5 Pro patch finally cleaned it up. So here's the good news. The image quality now looks way cleaner. That messy shimmer you used to get around leaves, wires, and shiny armor almost completely completely gone. The lighting feels more stable, the reflections are sharper, and the whole presentation finally matches the game's crazy atmosphere. You can actually take in those beautiful environments now without your eyes twitching every few seconds. Performance mode feels smoother too. You can tell the Pro's extra horsepower is doing some heavy lifting, fewer dips, faster frame pacing, and transitions that just feel tighter overall. The world loads faster, combat flows better, and even the small stuff like particle effects and volumetrics finally look right instead of smudgy. The best part? PSSR is finally working how it should. Before, it was like watching a great movie through a dirty window. Now, it's clean, crisp, and vibrant. It's not perfect yet. There's still a bit of shimmer in a few spots, but the difference is night and day. You can actually play this thing in performance mode now without feeling like you're sacrificing half the visuals. Cyberpunk 2077. The PS5 Pro basically gave this game the redemption arc of the century. Night City finally looks like what CD Projekt Red promised years ago. You've got 40 frames per second in quality mode, 80 frames per second in performance, and ray tracing that makes the entire city look alive. Neon signs glow through puddles, reflections bounce off car doors, and NPCs don't look like wax figures anymore. The sense of scale and light in this game is unreal now. It's like finally, this is what we were supposed to get at launch. On the PS5 Pro, Night City isn't just a backdrop, it's the main character. Resident Evil Village. If you thought the game was terrifying before, the PS5 Pro update just made it worse, in a good way. Capcom went all in on PSSR and ray tracing, and it shows. Shadows move differently, light flickers just enough to make you paranoid, and every creaky hallway feels alive. The 120 Hz mode is pure chaos. The smooth frame rate somehow makes the scares hit harder because your brain doesn't have time to process what's chasing you. The patch cleaned everything up visually, so the immersion is ridiculous. It's less playing a game, and more, I might actually die in this village. Dragon's Dogma 2. Okay, so this one had a rocky start on PS5. The base version struggled, but the PS5 Pro came in like a defibrillator. The balance mode stabilizes it around 60 frames per second. Ray tracing adds life to the environments, and the whole game just feels way more polished now. The world looks richer, lighting more natural, and the characters less waxy. It's the same addicting gameplay loop, but now it actually feels like a next-gen game. Capcom basically gave it a second chance, and the PS5 Pro turned it into what it was meant to be from the start. Senua's Saga 2 on PS5 Pro is finally here, and man, this thing is a trip. Like, I knew it was gonna look good, but I didn't expect to sit there with my jaw open for half the game. It's one of those rare times you can just feel that you're playing something built for the new hardware. You know when a game just feels expensive? Yeah, that. Right from the opening, it's like the PS5 Pro's showing off. The lighting, the atmosphere, the way the camera moves like it's breathing with you. It's nuts. I swear, half the time I forgot I was even controlling a game. It's so cinematic, it almost messes with your brain. And somehow, through all of that, it's smooth. No frame drops, no hitching, nothing breaking immersion. Just this haunting, perfect flow from scene to scene. And the sound, oh man, the sound. If you've got headphones, it's basically an out-of-body experience. You hear voices whispering behind you, beside you, above you. It's creepy as hell in the best way possible. The PS5 Pro's 3D audio just nails it. You feel like you're inside Senua's head, and that's a terrifying place to be. Visually, it's just pure art. Every face twitch, every flicker of firelight, every gust of wind feels handcrafted. You can tell Ninja Theory didn't cut corners. There's this strange realism to it that's hard to describe. Like, you can almost smell the damp earth and smoke. It's that good. What I love most, though, is how the PS5 Pro doesn't break a sweat. It's like the game finally found the hardware it was meant for. You don't have to think about performance modes or upscaling. You just play, and it's flawless. If you enjoyed this video, hey, maybe drop a like. It really helps a lot and tells me you want more. Subscribe for day one gaming leaks and news, and check out these videos you probably missed. Trust me, they're worth it.